Hi everyone, this is D Keys bringing you an Elementalist's guide to the Molten Furnace fractal. Talk to rocks to start the fractal's content, then LOS behind this stone behind you. I like to use Glyph of Storms for this group to keep blinds up on them. As they're about to spawn, stack Might using a fire field, and then while in Earth Attunement, cast Glyph of Storms just ahead of where your Guardian will place down a line or ring of warding. DPS them down quickly, and then an Elite Molten Brawler will spawn. If you have a Thief in the group, you can keep blinds up on him and he will be relatively harmless. If not, you'll take a little damage, but he will die quickly due to his low health pool. Afterwards, you will follow a tunneler through 5 rooms of enemies. For each room, you will either want a Guardian or Mesmer to pull the mobs together so that you can DPS them down while keeping blinds up, or LOS behind one of the piles of rock in the room. For all of these groups, I like to have Arcane Brilliance and Arcane Wave to stack Might on my party, as well as Signet of Fire to improve my DPS, plus Glyph of Storms to keep up blinds. Whichever elite you would like is probably an appropriate choice. Once you defeat the group of enemies in that room, a boulder will spawn. Place that boulder on the nearby geyser in order to continue the active quest. While it is preferable to stack Might before entering a room, the falling rocks that will knock you down make it rather difficult. I usually stack Might near the mobs as we enter instead. In groups of enemies that have ranged attacks, such as the Devourers, the Tar Elementals, and the Fire Elementals, you will want to chain any reflects you might have available with your party mates. Be careful if you get a group of red oozes. If you or a party mate or NPC attacks while they are blocking, they will one-shot you, as shown here. Otherwise, DPS them down quickly, and keep their ranged attacks reflected or otherwise blocked. I'm using Dagger Focus for this fractal, however a Scepter Hammer setup is also appropriate for this trash clearing, in which case you would replace the Glyph of Storms with your Lightning Hammer. Since we are clearing groups of mobs, we use Scale Venom to maintain weakness on our enemies. Continue this pattern of pulling the enemy together, stacking Might, if available, putting down your blind field, chaining reflects while clearing the enemy, putting the boulder on the geyser, and if you wish, mining the mithril ore for each room. The most difficult 2 groups of enemies that you may get in this hallway are the Fire Elementals and Earth Elementals. If you get Fire Elementals, again pull them to a wall and keep up reflects. Be very aware of where you're standing, as their AoEs can quickly down you. Also, keep them blinded so that their AoEs hit less frequently. If you encounter the Earth Elementals, you'll want to use a similar tactic, however, you can't pull them together. Try to LOS them as best you can so that you can cleave them down, and be wary if they happen to use any AoE skills underneath you, as they will apply quite a bit of cripple as well as do massive damage. At the end of the hallway, you'll encounter a large group of Molten Alliance enemies. Run through this group and to the right, using Stealth, Stability, and Aegis if your party members can provide it. LOS the group of enemies around the rocks near the steam wall. As the group approaches you, or if you feel like the group is approaching you because the Smoke Shaman has stealthed them, start stacking Might and put down a Glyph of Storms in Earth. Conjure your Fiery Greatsword, and as soon as the enemies are CC'd, use Fiery Rush, Fiery Roar, and the Firestorm to help clear the enemies quickly. The events of the dungeon will continue as soon as the Smoke Shaman has been killed. However, it's a wise idea to clear out almost all of the enemies in this group so that you can safely continue ahead. While I am taking DPS-oriented utilities such as Signet of Fire for this fight, you're welcome to take more survivability-oriented utilities such as Arcane Shield if that will help you stay up. This is one of the most difficult encounters in this fractal, and many groups wipe here. Once that group has been defeated, you'll be able to pass through the steam walls. If you are unable to pass through the steam walls, you may need to go back and reseat the boulders on the steam vents earlier in this fractal. I prefer to wait for the NPCs to reach me down here before this last room of the fractal, because I've had this fractal bug on me if we enter too early. For this last portion of the fractal, you'll need to survive weapons tests and then DPS down the weapons test core. The order of the weapon tests is random. For this particular weapon test, you can just stack in the southwest corner of the U-testing facility. Once the first test is over, you'll have 4 enemies shooting projectiles at you. Put up a reflect or swirling winds, put down a fire field to stack might, and quickly DPS down the core. This will start the second weapons test. For the shockwave weapon test, there is a safe spot near the core that is very difficult to find. You're safer just jumping each of the shockwaves. After the second weapon test has concluded, a molten protector will spawn near the core. Have your party mates pull or push that protector away from the core so that you can DPS it down. You don't even need reflects for that particular one. You can trivialize the flame tornado weapons test by standing near the exit door to this arena. Once the third weapon test has concluded, both the protector and the 4 shaman will spawn. Have your party mates pull or push the protector away so that you can DPS down the core quickly, and put up reflects or other projectile blocks so that you are safe from the shaman. Once you have DPS'd down the core to 25%, the adds will despawn, and all 3 weapons tests will fire simultaneously. Chain swirling winds with other projectile reflects, hop over the shockwaves, and sidestep what you can as you DPS down the core. Trying to run away will just prolong this fight and probably lead to your party mates dying. Once the core has been destroyed, the test engineer will come down into the arena for you to fight. Stack might using a fire field and your blasts, and then be ready to DPS him down. He has damaging projectile attacks as well as a knockback, so be ready to chain swirling winds with other projectile defenses. Once you defeated the test engineer, the Fractal has concluded. Thanks for watching.